There's this part of your brain called your orbitofrontal cortex. It's right above your eyes. And this part of your brain is really magic. It does a number of different things, but one of the most important things it does is it keeps track of how fun things are. The more enjoyable the process is, the more likely your brain wants to do something again. So think about behavior change attempts with your clients. Most of those, not because of you, but because of their history with trying to change their habits or behavior in the past, it's been filled with disappointment and shame and upset and hiding and all sorts of emotions that are on the negative side of that spectrum of emotional experience. And so the orbitofrontal cortex is remembering that. So another way to think about this is it's like a ladder of memory, a memory ladder in their brain, but it's a hierarchical memory structure. And the very most rewarding, enjoyable, awesome, positive emotional memories are lodged hierarchically higher up on that ladder. So the higher up on the ladder you go, the more enjoyable, the more positive the emotion was associated with that experience, and the lower, the more negative emotion associated with that experience. Why does that matter? Because the higher it is on the ladder, the more your brain wants to do it again. The lower it is on the ladder, the less your brain wants to do it again. I don't like running, but I do it every day. Running naturally, if you just say, hey, James, where does running sit on your emotional hierarchy, on your reward hierarchy? It sits pretty low. It hurts. My chest hurts. My thighs burn. It takes 10 to 15 minutes before the endorphins kick in, minimum. It's not very fun, but I can increase the enjoyment of that thing when I do it with someone else. I can just increase the emotional value of it. So this is Johnny, my neighbor. When Johnny and I go running, it's just different. It's just more enjoyable. It's higher on my emotional reward hierarchy. Same activity, just doing it with someone else, right? This is my wife and I ran one of these Color Me Rad races, and it was like a huge party. It was music and all this crazy stuff. That experience of running was way higher on the emotional reward hierarchy. So the brain's more likely to say when it's more enjoyable, again, again, again. And this is all set up to feeling follows frame. And when we frame something a particular way, we can architect an emotion that will flow from it. We don't have perfect control over our emotions. We can't always do this, but we have much more architectural power over our emotions than we suspect. It's amazing how much power we have over architecting our experience because we know this. If you create a frame, the feeling will flow from the frame. Why does this matter with the DQ game? Why does this matter with the DQ game? And what the heck is this DQ game James keeps talking about? Well, we change the frame of discomfort into a game. Just like I changed it with running, that this is more enjoyable, the game frame is one of the most powerful ways to change the way we're relating to the discomfort we're experiencing in the service of building confidence. So why are we embracing discomfort? It's in the service of building confidence. And so how do we get ourselves to do it? What is that again, again, again factor? It's turning the discomfort into a game. This is why it matters so much. The discomfort quotient looks like this. It is quite simple, and it turns growth into something you can track, something you can see progress around. And it's not about a report card. No, 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 quite the opposite. It's about seeing progress over time so I can stay motivated. Every time I embrace discomfort, I get a point. I click a button. I embrace discomfort. I hit embraced. I could tell that my significant other was a little bit uneasy or if there was some tension in the conversation just now. And I put my hand on her arm and said, everything okay? That was leaning into the discomfort rather than avoiding it. I got a point for that. And trust me, my wife is like, what are you doing? Why are you so much better at like embracing these difficult conversations, James? And I'm like, oh, I got a little secret. I got a point for it. You know, it's like, trust me, they're going to be happy that you know how to do this. So your brain's on the fence. Will I have this difficult conversation or not? Your brain's on the fence. You get a point for it. Your brain's like, geez, I like games. It's kind of fun. Okay, I can do this. I can do this, right? Changes your emotional relationship with leaning into the discomfort. A feedback conversation at work. Maybe someone is not performing and you need to have a conversation with them about it. Or have some feedback for somebody else. Those are hard conversations to have. We typically avoid them. 90% of people avoid them 90% of the time. Okay, cool. But if you have one, if you have that conversation, you get a point. You embrace discomfort. If you wake up and go for that morning run, you embrace discomfort. If you cold cap for 2 minutes at the end of your shower, you embrace discomfort. The list is infinite. for ways that you could embrace discomfort. If you initiate conversation with a stranger instead of simply ignoring them, the person on the same level as you in your shared office space, you're trying to make friends. The pathway to adult friendship, to making friends as adults, which is extremely hard to do, is embracing 60 seconds of discomfort. That's been my experimentation. It costs you about 60 seconds of discomfort to initiate that conversation, and they reciprocate, and it becomes interesting, and all of a sudden, even for introverts, it turns into a seed of an actual relationship. That's the cost. It's in service of that relationship. And when I do it, I get a point. Now, that is divided by embraced plus avoided. In other words, the total amount of times I experienced discomfort. The ones I embraced plus the ones I avoided. And trust me, you're going to avoid a few, maybe a lot. That's okay too. But the point is, the total number is the denominator. The total number is the denominator, and that gives you your ratio, your percentage, the total score. And that is what we call the DQ score. Now, that DQ score is a daily score. How many times I embraced discomfort divided by how many times I embraced plus avoided. There's an app called Tally. Every time you embrace discomfort, you click the green button, embraced, embraced, embraced. And every time you avoid it, you click the red button, avoided, avoided. And so what would that look like? I embraced it 6 times. I voted it 2 times today. What would my daily DQ score be? 75%. And this is embraced plus avoided. So the total of times I experienced discomfort on the denominator, that gives me 6/8. That's 75% score or ratio for that day. That's my daily DQ score. And then over time, you track this and it creates a different kind of relationship with discomfort because all of a sudden it's a game. Why it matters so much. Because as people have this experience of embracing discomfort and see it as evidence not only of growth, which is the general big umbrella, but also growth in this particular way, which is building confidence, what will happen is not only will they start having, with the DQ game and all these other tools we're using, not only will they have better emotional experiences, is they'll feel more energized and motivated to keep pursuing the difficult thing, keep pursuing and embracing challenge rather than avoiding it. Thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below for more free brain hacks. And don't forget to check out our course, The Brain Science Advantage, in the link below. Until next time.